Music is such an amazing thing, just the way these melodies, rhythms, vibrations affect the way we feel. And yeah, just reminded, I made that post just, going through my CD collection, and there's the stuff just speaking about the 90s electronic music. And I just put on an album I haven't heard in a couple years on YouTube, and I'm just thinking of growing my collection and everything more. Again, branching off of, getting away from Spotify and more better quality audio in the car and on a device and everything. I'm also going to get a portable CD player that is modern and made with really nice tech and everything. So good quality, and you can actually, plug that into speakers and things too. It works well, like, either way. But yeah, I just wanted to speak about, real quick, just some of my favorite stuff. This is, like, obsessed level stuff. But things, a lot of times I'll have these phases of, I'm stuck on one thing for a very long time. And it's been a while since I've been on this with 90s ambient house music. That's what it was labeled as. Think of house music as that sort of thing. But like with this, they did all sorts of experimental stuff and really cool, just using all the latest tools that their PCs and equipment and synthesizers had and everything. Really cool sounds. I mean, that's just the beautiful thing about it, is I love all sorts of music. And I would prefer to play, well, I've made electronic music on my Sybil module project too. That's more sort of influenced by Ambient sort of stuff. But I did other stuff. But yeah, part of me would rather, like, I think if I had to, it's like, I want to play rock music and I want to play guitar and all that, and like, really have something physical, and you can synthesizers for this stuff, but of course you're programming the drums. I'm gonna do that with the guitar too, but at least, guitar and stuff. But I honestly, with what I listen to, this is so special to me. Listening to this album again, it's just Deep Space Network meets higher intelligence agency, like aliens. But yeah, album that I've listened to, 2 artists collaborating, and I think higher intelligence agency may actually be 2 artists already. This may be 2 duos, or actually don't know. I think Deep Space Network is 1 dude. I'm actually not certain. I'm interested in delving into this and doing more research too, because yeah, with some of the things that, this has been a part of my life for so long, and with the internet, yeah, again, the yin and yang of things, there's a whole bunch of toxic people and all sorts of things, but since I was very young, it took me a while to think about that, though, I have to admit, from finding my way from radio music, from local radio stations and MTV and VH1 and stuff like that, and finally thinking of, whoa, why don't I use the internet, and really just that entire world of, like, encyclopedia of, at your fingertips, of so many musical artists. So, like, the good part of the internet. And yeah, since, then that was more with, yeah, I knew of some of these artists. I knew of Aphex Twin, I knew of Future Sound of London, just a couple more. But, when I started getting back, so, like, there have been artists that I've liked since I was a teenager for very long and everything, and they blew my mind, and, there was that, there was stuff with more extreme metal music and everything, being like, whoa, what? This is just super cool. Like, a lot of it has, like, sort of classical style, like, really intricate, like, cool shit. And that's just how I like things. I like the variety. I like stuff that's very intense. I like stuff that's very soothing. I like stuff that's very intricate and, like, keeps you playing a memory game. I like stuff that is very straightforward and just catchy and just impactful in that just beautiful little melodies repeating and like maybe looping, and like there's some other stuff added. It can be like, have like, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, like different bridge, whatever. But yeah, like all this stuff. I really wanted to get to this point though. I was trying to talk about this. Yeah, so like, yeah, I've gone past the discovering music early on, finally on the internet, but like the most recent stuff. So with like post-black metal and BLACKGAZE, whatever. People don't really like the post stuff, but I don't mind it. It's like, I don't think of it as literally like, oh, this is better because it came later or whatever. It's just a label, but and it works for certain things, especially if you're considering it like, oh, post-rock elements, but like shoegaze elements. Even though it's meant to be actual, like, a separate thing. Like, there's post-rock and there's post-black metal, but it's like, still, I don't know. Different things. But yeah, these are more recent things. That's maybe nearly like a decade now. Probably like 10 years of like being like, whoa. And very early on, only knowing a few artists and stuff. And it was I wasn't obsessed at the beginning. I was just like, oh, this is cool. It's cool to learn of this. But yeah, within the last decade or so, just really getting into a couple of those artists. And some of them have branched off and sort of not even experimented with blackgaze or post-black metal anymore, and done more sort of psychedelic, like shoegaze stuff that's like not as, it doesn't even have to have any harsh vocals or anything. But yeah, so within the last 10 years, there's stuff like that. So there's still discovery to be made. It's like, yeah, there is a limit to what you can make, and not everything's going to be fresh, and it doesn't have to be. I love things that remind me of other things. It's fine. But, yeah, just it's crazy that I can still be, whoa, I didn't know this existed. And I'm a music geek, and there's very little that I don't like. I mean, I base things on ethics, too. It's like, I'm not gonna give money to somebody that's, like, really nasty and, like, has a hatred of different sorts of people or whatever. But, like, beyond that, like, I like so much different stuff. Not everything, I admit that. Like, certain types of, country and stuff, it's, like, hard for me to get into. Same with hip-hop and rap. I like some stuff. It really depends on the message and everything. I feel like some stuff is just, it seems like it's like undercover cops trying to get people to, like, sell the government's drugs in order to, like, I don't know, it just seems really weird. But I do love some hip-hop. If it's not super egomaniacal, like, oh, I joke about that stuff a lot, but and I do find it humorous in some ways, and not to, like, shit on anyone, but yeah, like, the whole, like, oh, like, I'm so amazing, and everyone pales in comparison to me, like, it's good to feel yourself, and I do that too. I definitely do. The few things about me that I think are amazing, I'll be like, yeah, let's talk about this, and, like, be proud of ourselves and our accomplishments, or whatever traits we like. But yeah, I'm more like the stuff that's, like, really cool, like sci-fi, like fucking Deltron and stuff, like certain stuff, or like telling epic stories, nerdy stuff. Like, I like when rappers will talk about pop culture references and things and, like, geeky shit. Like, I like that. So, like, within each genre, there's probably something for me, and something I would really love. Like, I like so much stuff. But yeah, and then so blackgaze, post-black metal stuff within the last 10 years, and then rediscovering 90s electronic music, and specifically learning of the term ambient house music. I didn't even know. I knew IDM, and he doesn't even like the label IDM, Aphex Twin, but it gave us something to be like, okay, you're kind of, like, playing with new sounds and stuff, so let's, it's not EDM. For the longest time, like, many years ago, I would just sort of, like, call things EDM, like, oh, it's electronic dance music, but that's sort of its own, not saying it's all bad, and there's such a variety to things and everything, but that's more, it's a different totally different sort of thing that's got more of a sometimes modern style and everything. Less of the old sounding like blips and sort of like retro sci-fi stuff and everything. And a lot of it's very ambient. And that's what I like too. You can have that with EDM, but it's not as special to me with like some of the really slow. It's like the beats aren't super slow. They're not like crazy BPM, but they're also like, it's just more like the pads, the synth pads in the background and the atmosphere of like, whoa, this feels like a alien world. An alien world. But yeah, so within the last 10 years, there's been that too. Yeah, just these new artists that I was like, oh, a lot of these artists are on the same label, Warp Records. And I just found, yeah, they sell merch. I'm going to be getting that because it's like, yeah, discovering Aphex Twin early on, and then many of these artists, Boards of Canada, Otecker, or however you say it, Otecker or Otech, or I've never known how to pronounce that, but I love these artists. And like, I want to represent this, but yeah, I've just been sitting here listening to this. This seat is so uncomfortable. I'm actually about to order a computer chair for this room, and I'll have to put a rug under it because it's like, this is hardwood, and it's got like the rolling wheels and stuff, but it's like, I want a nice cushiony chair because I've been sitting here just sitting here for like an hour and a half just doing the CDs. I got lost in it, and it's like, okay, this is nice because I'm finding some joy. I'm not getting so lost in all the horrors and all the difficult things in my life and all around the world. It's just a little moment of respite and joy. Yeah, it's nice just putting this music on YouTube, trying to discover more as I'm putting the collection I already have here onto the computer and onto my phone. Yeah, that's not like, I don't know what to say. It's just music. It's genetic. It's in my family and everything. Not my entire family, like forever. But yeah, my grandpa and my dad and different things, like people on the, there's a good amount of like some level of like, this really hits something in our souls and everything. And yeah, it's just, I sort of say it's the most important thing in my life, and I don't see how I could function without it, given my autism and given, that's annoying too. Let's talk about that for a split second. This is almost 15 minutes, but yeah, to each their own. I want people to celebrate things in themselves, and I will acknowledge the things that are a big part of my life and that I identify with, and I let people know and be open about. Yeah, there's positives to them, and I do think it gives me an edge in some ways. It really depends. There can be burnout, but there can also be like, wow, I'm really tapped into something. But that being said, I still consider my own things like, yes, a disorder in different things. I definitely have severe social weirdness, and I'm smart enough to see it. I can't change it. I can't mask it. I've never understood it. It's just like, I'm always going to feel that in public and stuff. I'm going to be like fumbling, like trying to like, I'll be talking about, I'll sort of, a lot of times, to be honest, it seems selfish because it's like, if it's not something I'm interested in, I'm kind of just like, I don't know what to say. And I don't fake conversation like so many people. I'm not going to be like, so how was that? Like, I'm just going to exactly communicate like an animal in different ways. Just like, hey, this is it. Hey, what do you think? Yeah, we can have small talk in some regard, to some extent and everything. And what have you been up to? And I do care about people, and I love people, and I want people to feel okay, and I do want to hear about what people like and do. But yeah, it's just a lot of times I have that selfish aspect to where it's like, oh, this is too long. Anyway, music. I love music. Love, I hope you feel well often, and you deserve to feel okay.